Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking a bit more about the replacement of gifting event, so the Banquet basically, and most specifically about how good of an event it is going to be for all the free-to-play and low-spending players. And that is where there is a very big difference and kind of misconception. I do think this is one of the best events of the year for new and kind of middle of the tier players, or even for the more veteran players that do not take this game overly competitive. And that is like where large amount of my personal frustrations come with the event, because in reality there are two different events. There is the one event that is largely intended for like top 5, top 10 war and AQ alliances and things like that, where it is not the most kind of like encouraging things, but at the same time, for everybody else, there is a lot of amazing things to be gained, and I do not want to shy away from it. Just because I do personally have mixed or conflicting emotions about this entire thing, it doesn't mean that you should not be able to enjoy it. And that is exactly what I am going to talk about here, because you can get some absolutely amazing rewards with very minimal to no cost to yourself in reality, largely due to all of the free Banquet crystals that you are going to get and the units that you can get in the event itself. I will not go into the exact details of the math, but basically, in counting the cost of in counting all of the free units that you get from the solo event, which is about 500 here, and then there were a few more, and then there are some more in Alliance event, I believe you get around 975 units or 1050. No, it's 1050 units you can get for free, and also you get about 23 greater Banquet crystals for free throughout this entire 2-week event. And this time around you also get points for just opening greater Banquet crystals. So what does that mean? As long as everybody in Alliance takes the bare minimum, participation of opening up all of the free greater Banquet crystals that they can earn, plus spending 900 or 1200 units, and keep in mind that you will be getting 1050 units for free from this event, you will also be able as an alliance to get all of the milestones together, and that will include perfectly free 6-star Abyss Nexus, 6-star Nexus Hero Crystal, 25,000 6-star Hero Crystal Shards here, a 4-star Relic, some tier 5 basic catalysts, tier 2 alpha catalysts, tier 4 basic, so on and so forth. And also with absolutely no additional unit investment, I believe you get to about milestone 7 for completely free, basically, without any investment, again, aside from returning the units basically that you earn here, which will include additional 6-star shards, some tier 2 alpha, stuff like that. If you want to get all of this extra stuff here from the solo event, and that is not to mention all of the stuff that you will get from the greater Banquet crystals, because statistically opening 20 plus of those should give you a decently good haul. Will also give you a 5-star relic, a 6-star awakening gem, tier 6 basic, tier 3 alpha, and all of these things. And in order to get all of this stuff, you would need to spend, I think, about additional 6,000 units, so it's about 2 Odin's worth. So ultimately, that is without a question that this event is very much so worth taking part in, and you should be encouraging your teammates to also take part in. There is a very specific thing that I do encourage a lot of people to pay attention to, and that is you still can exchange items. Yes, you can't exchange the greater Banquet crystals anymore, but I have started doing these individual Battlegrounds coaching sessions, and one of the things that I have noticed that majority of the players' masteries are just a mess. They really are, and you are really, really, really shooting yourself in the foot for every single passing month that you are not unlocking a proper mastery setup when you do not have access to stuff like Inequity or Max MD or Despair and things like that. Not to mention Recoil, Liquid Courage, Double Edge as well for when it's needed. So my personal recommendation to those people who do have some extra units is to work with the carbonadium cores. Carbonadium cores do offer also a great return on units in terms of points. And this is a perfect example where you can get along with your teammate who also wants some items exchanged and request cores from them, earn points in this event, thus contributing your alliance score, thus getting more and more solo rewards, and finally get your masteries in order, because that is a very, very big part of this game. And unlike everything else in this game, masteries don't really lose their value. As in, you're only better off unlocking masteries early, because 2 years down the line, they cost still the same amount of units. 4 years ago, when we unlocked the masteries, and I have been able to benefit from these masteries for 4+ years, and therefore have the easier time playing the game, or being able to do better in Battlegrounds or Alliance Wars or just casual content, I have already reaped incredible benefit from having access to all of that. And it's still just as valuable as it was back in the day. And that you cannot say about virtually anything else. 4 years ago, you probably paid a couple $100 for like Tier 2 Alpha or Tier 5 Basic or something like that when they just started appearing. Now they are being thrown at us for basically free or very, very little cost. You wouldn't pay $10 for a Tier 2 Alpha anymore, but we used to pay well in excess of $100 or $500 for a Tier 2 Alpha when they were initially introduced. So that just shows that virtually everything else is depreciating in the value. And my personal advice to most of the people that are planning on playing this game for a while is to use this opportunity when we have the last ever time when gifting is a thing to be smart with the units and unlock your masteries finally. Yes, opening a cow crystal or get a banquet crystal is always more exciting, but ultimately in the long term, this is going to be much, 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 much better investment. Think about it. Now, even if you do get a 6-star or something like that from your greater banquet crystals, 7 stars are around the corner. A couple years from now, those 6 stars will not matter really, just like, 4 stars don't matter today and 5 stars matter less and less and less. So that is definitely my recommendation. But ultimately, I also do want to point out that the base plan of this entire event for all of the alliances and all of the people who are free to play and who are on the lower end of spending, the base idea is that you get to about milestone 7 in the solo event completely for free. And you also get all of the alliance event rewards completely for free just from opening the greater banquet crystals that you can acquire throughout the event, in the calendar, in these event milestones, by nominating your alliance mates with that kudos system. It also gives you, every time you open one of these, it gives you like 1,000 points. And the math there works out, well, it's kind of depending based on when the last greater banquet crystals are being delivered with that calendar, whether you can benefit from them or not. But ultimately, opening 3 to 4 of those, is with the units that you get back from the event, is going to make sure that everybody in Alliance reaches max Alliance event. And then in the solo event, I do believe that it is also worth exchanging items, especially if you do have the units grinded. And I do think it's going to be about 6,000 units worth that you need to exchange, so about 2 Odin's worth, so hopefully that you have grinded them in order to receive the final rewards. Additional side note for those people who do spend on the game casually here and there, or would have to purchase the units if you do want to get to the max of the milestone, is that do remember that they always do some sort of Christmas deals or New Year's deals that are nowhere near as good as Cyber Weekend ones, but there's still some extra added value placed on top of just buying units. So I think every year typically they add like 6-star shards, or last year there were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, some 6-star Nexus crystal around the Christmas time that you get for Odin's as well. Do not expect anything nowhere near as good as Cyber Weekend cash offers, but there will be some extra items thrown on the unit packs, and that is a very kind of like a good advice to those of you who are more impatient, because remember that this event starts on like 22nd, I believe, or 20th. I think it starts on 20th. Once again, let's get to the top. Kind of slightly forgot. It starts on 20th, but I do think that on 24th or 25th we will see additional items added to the unit pack. So do not rush it. Take your couple of days if you're planning on spending some money on this event. Not that you have to, not that it is an absolute must, you know. But if you do end up doing that, then wait until there are additional items given to you for the same money, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that is about it. And I also just wanted to make this video to make sure that I genuinely do look at this event as completely kind of two separate events. One thing is all of the very cheap and free stuff that you can get for it. That is great for newer and mid-tier players, and you know, just in general getting some, you know, decent free things. And then there is obviously the absolute bleeding edge point of this event with tier 6 class catalyst fragments included and 4 to 5 gems and everything else in the rewards, which every year it does make me want not to play this game anymore, just because of how extreme this event is getting, and it is getting more and more brutal, I will say, every year. But that does not mean that you cannot get plenty of extremely good things for very, very little of your effort or money, and you absolutely should capitalize on that. That being said, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys later. See you. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information